Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI all have their own AI products, yet the biggest tech company of all, Apple, didn't even mention the word AI once during their annual WWDC. But they didn't need to, because Apple's AI strategy has actually been in play for years. In this video, I'll be breaking down the 3 parts of Apple's AI strategy and what you can expect from Apple in the future. Number 1, don't use the word AI. The reason Apple doesn't use the word AI is because they don't fall for hype trains. They create hype trains. The Vision Pro is not a VR device, it's a spatial computing device. The first of its kind. Sounds much cooler, right? Falling into hype trains allows Apple to be at the mercy of the industry and of the train itself. If the train falls off the tracks and is replaced by another one, Apple's product might also fall off a bit with the train. Instead, Apple has a history of creating hype trains so that they lead and everybody else follows. For example, Apple released the AirPods and then suddenly every other company had the brilliant idea of wireless in-ear headphones with a nifty charging case. That's the reason they didn't mention the word AI once at their annual event. They did, however, mention machine learning, which is exactly what AI is and the preferred way Apple seems to refer to any of their AI milestones. Number 2, AI is not a product in itself. There aren't going to be any Apple products centered around AI like ChatGPT is. ChatGPT and Bard are kind of special cases where AI is the product, but most products that are just AI aren't really sustainable or defensible against their incumbents. Rather, Apple will use AI to enhance features of their products. Apple is known for their elite user experience, but generalized LLMs like ChatGPT and Bard are riddled with incorrect outputs and hallucinations. Tim Cook said in a conference call in May 2023 that Apple will be adding AI to more of its products, but on a very thoughtful basis. That doesn't mean they aren't working on AI applications. Internally, they've created Ajax, a framework to create large language models. Ajax has been used to develop a ChatGPT-like chatbot internally. We also know that Apple is planning a new health coaching service codenamed Quartz that relies on data from an Apple Watch and uses AI to personalize plans. However, leadership at the company has overall signaled that they want to be conservative about AI. They want to refine the user experience first before it goes public. Furthermore, Apple has been posting jobs for generative AI engineers for various teams, like the Vision Pro and Siri. Apple has released a few AI-related products to the public, which gives us hints on what the core of Apple's AI strategy probably will be. For example, iOS 17's personal voice was recently previewed. It's a voice model that replicates your voice on device with a few audio samples. People will totally use this for health reasons, like it was marketed. Here's my personal voice.
Like the video, will ya? And subscribe.
Just like me, right? This shows us that until AI is at a point where it's high quality enough to be deployed into their products, Apple will keep it internal and keep experimenting. All of this leads us to the third and main step of Apple's AI strategy: local models, or as Apple likes to call it, on-device machine learning. Apple has made it clear that this is the route they're going and it fits really well with their ecosystem. Local models explained in 15 seconds. Current popular AI models like GPT-4 are hosted by OpenAI on their servers. You send them a request with a message and they respond back with the message. Each request requires internet access and a little bit of money. However, a local model runs on your own device. It's much smaller than something like GPT, but it requires no internet access and it's free. All it costs is some battery power. Local models are Apple's secret sauce for 2 reasons. The first reason is privacy for you. Apple's been on the push for privacy as a brand for years, and it has worked amazingly for them. Local models are, of course, private because they run on your device. Apple's local models will be and already are small and specialized, because it's not about the size of the model, it's how you use it. For example, GPT-4 seems like it's all-knowing and all-seeing. But it's not just one giant model. It's actually a collection of 8 smaller expert models that are really good at specific tasks. I have a video on that linked down below. In the same vein, these local models will be trained for one purpose and be extremely good at that one thing, like search in photos or note summaries. Since it runs on the user's device, it makes you as a user happy because it's private. It makes Apple happy because it's free for them once it's on the device. There are no server costs. The second reason Apple benefits from using on-device machine learning is data for Apple. While Apple loves the privacy branding, it's not just for the good of the consumer. Apple reaps the benefits through brand loyalty and consumer goodwill, but also through having a stranglehold on user data. All the data on your iPhone, your watch, your MacBook can be and is collected in specialized ways, but it's de-identified and private. Nobody else has access to this valuable data. The reason it's so valuable is because you're using your devices for hours per day. It knows where you are, what apps you use, what you're thinking when you're sleeping, and more. If you have an iPhone, MacBook, and Apple Watch like I do, then you are literally in proximity of an Apple device 24 hours a day. Other companies would kill for this data, but Apple has it and they sure are taking advantage of it. For example, Apple's ad business has boomed over the past few years, and their privacy policy on App Store ads says that they'll personalize ads for you based on your activity on your phone. But some of this personalization is done locally on device. So as we can see, local processing is already in their playbook. Now you might be thinking, local models are great, but how will they actually perform on my device? While we have seen models like Meta's Llama run on MacBooks and iPhones locally, performance isn't that great. Remember, Apple makes their own chips. No, not those chips. These ones. The M1 and M2 chips crunch through applications like they're bulking and behind on calories for the day. They're specially made for Apple by Apple. These M1 and M2 chips also come with neural cores, which I quote are dedicated to the acceleration of artificial intelligence operations and machine learning tasks. But chips alone are bland. That's why local AI models are the salsa. The software of local models will be optimized to take advantage of Apple's chip architecture. A core example is Apple talking about finally improving ducking autocorrect in iOS 17. They're using on-device machine learning, a transformer language model, and the power of Apple Silicon. As we can see, local models are immensely useful for specialized tasks like autocorrect. But the real focus here should be the assistant in the room, Siri. Siri is certified garbage. If AI is taking anybody's jobs, it better be Siri's first. Siri actually does use machine learning for voice recognition using an on-device deep neural network for recognizing, "Hey Siri." For speech recognition and other processing, it uses other machine learning models. However, the performance is obviously subpar, mostly because these models cannot harness the creativity that generative AI models can. Siri supercharged with ChatGPT-like capabilities is the obvious route to go, and Apple is reportedly working on a Siri replacement using LLMs. That concludes Apple's AI strategy. While we have the menu, we don't know when this food will actually reach the table. All we can do is sit at the kitchen table and just wait for head cook Tim to, well, cook.